一つだけ約束して。全部壊して。
Welcome back, everyone. This time around, I'm making everyone's favorite crash out, Maki. As usual, the first step is to find some 3D files to turn into heads, hands, and accessories. This time around, we'll be using this incredible model right here, link in the description as always. I get so much out of this one file. I mean, there's 3 heads, 2 weapons, and an Aura Farmer's head. And after some off-screen editing and printing, here's our selection of parts for this project. Now for Maki, I couldn't just use any body since, you know, she's absolutely stacked up top. Luckily, about a year ago now, I purchased this body right here, specifically because she's got some big arms. Unfortunately though, this body is way too short compared to my other JJK figures for some reason. Even though it's a 1/6 scale figure, she's only about 10 inches tall without a head. Also, the hips on this body are just a bit too much for Maki, so I opted to use a different body, but I can still use these buff arms since they are removable. This body comes with 2 sets of arms, with one set being slightly less buff than the other. So even after taking one set, we can still use this body for someone else in the future. Let me know in the comments who you guys think would be a good fit for this body. I paid 80 bucks for it, so I better put it to good use. As for the clothes, that's my mom's crafty work once again. She always helps me out when I need clothes for these projects. She usually does it when I'm not around, so I don't really have a lot of footage of it. This time we even designed the cape with wire in it so I can pose it better. It's a relatively simple outfit, but the wired cape really adds a lot to the aesthetic. It's also attached using snaps, which means it's easier to remove and swap her shirt when she's not wearing the cape. And now that we've assembled all the pieces for this project, it's time to get to work. Preliminary sanding is always a must, along with fitting pegs to the body, which actually is made way easier thanks to this UV clay I just found out about. Shout out to fellow YouTube creator and customizer Papito Loco for this absolutely game-changing tip. You see, I used to use epoxy clay for fitting heads, hands, and feet, but it takes so long to dry, and when it hardens it's like a rock, which isn't very flexible and doesn't create a lot of friction for holding parts like plastic would. But with this UV putty, it hardens within a few seconds of UV light, and it stays somewhat gummy, which creates a tight grip for heads, hands, and feet. I mean, this just shaved off so many hours of work time, it's insane. Now I'll still be needing the epoxy clay to make the scars on her arms, so let's get those on there. At first I wasn't sure if they should be sculpted or just painted to look more like the anime, but since the heads had sculpted scars, I figured I'd just stay consistent. I made sure not to cover any of the areas where it might chip when bending the arms. This process took quite a while, but for editing purposes it only takes about 30 seconds, so voila, all done. With everything sanded and fitted, let's get straight into painting. We'll start off by giving everything a base of primer, including the freshly sculpted scars on her arms. Next, we'll move on to painting the skin tones. With that done, I gave all her hair pieces a coat of dark green. The swords need to be painted with metallics, so first I'll base them in black to make sure those metals really pop. And since I'm already using black, the shoes get a base coat as well. Now we can start applying chrome to the swords. And since I'm already using metallics, the Jujutsu High pins on Maki's cape get sprayed with some gold. Now when it comes to the Dragon Bone sword, the anime version differs quite a bit from the version I'm used to seeing. If you Google Dragon Bone, you'll most likely see a version with lots of gold pieces on it. But while I was rewatching episode 4 of season 3 looking for references, I noticed in the anime there's barely any gold on it at all. In fact, it's really only this small piece right here that's gold, while everything else appears to be silver or gray. So I decided to try my best to stay in line with the anime's coloring of the sword. Do you guys think I should have gone with the gold version? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, while you're at it, you might as well hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already. If you're enjoying what you see, there's plenty more of it on my channel, so do us both a solid. Now let's paint Junichi's head, shall we? I wasn't sure which color to go with for his hair. When I looked it up, I found his hair was black, but it sure does look brown in some other scenes. I ended up going with black, but I'm very curious if brown would have been the better choice. Anyways, after the hair, I went ahead and just finished up all the details on his head before moving on to the other pieces. Maki's boots have light gray soles, so let's go ahead and paint those on real quick. Next up, the handles on both swords get painted with a sandy beige. Now you may have noticed that I have two split soul katana hands. I made one for each hand so that I could replicate dual wielding with Dragon Bone, and also have her just use the split soul katana in her right hand like she does later on. Now let's go ahead and put the finishing touches on each sword by painting the rest of the details in. With that done, let's get to the head sculpts. There are 3 of them, even though she's got the same expression for all 3. There aren't too many good Maki sculpts out there, unfortunately, so I didn't have much variety in faces to choose from, but at least I can represent 3 different looks for her with these heads. Now we can paint the scars. I wasn't looking forward to this part since I knew it would take a while, but I couldn't procrastinate any longer. And just as I finally painted all 3 heads and both arms, I realized it was too dark. I mean, Maki's scars do change color from scene to scene, but this was a bit too dark for me to excuse. So I had to go back and repaint all of it again with a lighter shade. But I'm glad I did. I think it looks much more accurate now. I threw some panel liner in the Jujutsu high pins to make the spiral pattern pop. Then I wiped it off to make sure it's only in the crevices. And even though I didn't film it, here's what the fully painted heads look like. And that pretty much wraps up painting, so let's just go ahead and seal everything and throw on the finishing touches. Everything gets several coats of satin varnish, and then I'll go back and add some gloss to the eyes to make sure they look wet and shiny. All that's left now is to glue on the Jujutsu high pins and call it a wrap. So with that, let's put her all together and take a look at my custom 1/6 scale MAKI ZEN'IN.
I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their
So how'd I do on this one? I can't wait to put her with the rest of the crew. I'm slowly building quite a unique collection over here. And I plan to add many more over time. Just as long as I can afford them, because these things can get quite expensive. I'm working my way down the list though, and since you're still here watching, you get a sneak peek as to who's next up. I just hope you don't judge it too hard when I'm finished with them. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's been a long time coming. As I mentioned earlier, I bought that body a year ago, and now's when I get the chance to finally make her. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me who you want to see next. If I get enough suggestions for someone in particular, they could absolutely get bumped up the priority list. Anyways, I've yapped long enough. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again very soon.